This episode of the Restoration Today podcast is brought to you by One Claim Solution. Did you know it takes about 45 days for most contractors to get paid for an emergency services job, and some report much worse wait times? Either way, that's a long time to get paid, especially with the stresses of keeping up with payroll and overhead costs. One Claim Solution is an insurance billing solution that not only gets their clients paid in 32 days on average, but also improves profitability and handles all communication with adjusters. You deserve to work with a specialist that has well-trained attorneys and staff, proprietary purpose-built technology, and rigorous time-proven processes needed to deliver a best-in-class insurance billing capability. One Claim Solution will handle it all so you can focus on what matters most, running your business. Visit oneclaimsolution.com for more. Hello there. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Restoration Today podcast. Today, I am joined by two friends who are also heavily involved in the RIA, and we are here to talk about the annual convention and all the amazing things that are coming. This show has almost sold out or sold out the last few years. It just honestly keeps getting better and better. It is the must-attend event for Restorers of the Year, hands down. So I am joined by Kelley Dolan, who is the Corporate Administrative VP for First Onsite, and Jeff Jones, who's the Director of Marketing for Dolan Management Associates. Kelley, really, her title could be Jack of all trades, like literally everything, because every time I talk to her, she's doing something different, all the things. And she also won the Volunteer of the Year award for the RIA last year, which she is very deserving of. And so thank you very much for joining me, both of you. Kelley, let's start by having you kind of introduce yourself and share your background in the industry and also with RIA.
Sure. Very excited to be here. I'll say that I started volunteering with the RIA maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and very quickly sort of jumped into the chair role for the annual planning committee, which does the annual convention. A little bit of involvement with the virtual convention in the fall too. I'll say the first year I was chair, we were all virtual all the time because of the COVID. So it's been great to be back in person the last couple of years. As Michelle mentioned, I'm with First Onsite, and I am really a jack of all trades. I'm currently leading our marketing team, but have done a little bit of everything, a little bit of everywhere in restoration. Before First Onsite, I was part of Maxon's restorations out of New York City. And when we were acquired, I jumped over to the corporate side at First Onsite.
Perfect. And Jeff, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. I am the Director of Sales and Marketing here at Dolan Management, position I have served in for the last 10 years. I got involved with RIA, I'd probably say 7, 8 years ago. In different various roles, serving on committees. Currently, I am the chairperson of the membership committee for the RIA, and of course, I serve with Kelley on the planning commission as well.
Perfect. All right. So every year there's an overall theme for convention. So what is this year's theme?
Networking. Absolutely. Networking and learning.
And isn't it Restoration Beautiful, though? Isn't that the actual theme?
That is the actual theme that we did move forward with the event to try and get people in to be excited about it.
Okay. So what does Restoration Beautiful mean? Like, what are some of the topics, I guess, that you're going to cover at convention that restorers can plan to learn about when they're there?
The concept of beautiful comes from an old city planning group it was City Beautiful. It was a movement they did back in the late 1890s, early 1900s to try and develop downtown areas that would attract more people into it. Chicago was the first to use it, Detroit, Cleveland, Washington, D.C. Orlando adopted it later on, and it's now their city motto. And so we're piggybacking off of that. How do we create kind of a focal point, an epicenter to bring everybody together and talk about the positives in our industry and what we can all do to get better at what we do. And Kelley can go into more detail as far as the sessions that we have.
Yeah, it's a good variety. So we, at the end of every year, we ask a lot of questions about like what worked, what didn't work, what would you like to see more of? And hands down, it's always like more time networking, more time networking, more time networking. So we built a few sessions around that this year. We have a keynote speaker who's going to focus on that and give us like assignments and homework while we're there. We have a couple of like roundtable sort of sessions. One where we're going to talk about issues in the industry. So like all the things that we couldn't make into a general session kind of will hit that list. We're also going to try to do regional breakouts as much as we can, or maybe a big like regional together, but talk about what we've been doing in the regional breakout groups that Ed Cross has been working with. So there's a lot that is about coming together and working together and being supportive of one another, right? Like, yeah, we're all competitors in that room, but we're tight as a group. We're a supportive team, and we want to make sure, when everyone's saying the feedback is that they want more time with each other, we're going to build that into the schedule. So that's a lot of what motivated this year's schedule. And then there's just some other general stuff. We haven't done a sales session in a while, so we have one of those in there that talks about sales from a lot of different angles. Um, Large construction jobs made the list this year as well too, which is always a big ask. So we're trying to focus on giving something for everyone that's in that room. Even if it's not your area of the business, you're going to take away something from that session.
So talking about the networking, what would you say makes the networking at the RIA convention specifically different than other events you can go to? There are so many trade shows to pick from, but there is something different about RIA and going there. The networking and connections really are different. So why do you think that is?
Jeff, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I think what's unique about the RIA and the attendees who go at it is it's one of the very few programs in the entire industry that is dedicated solely to education and learning. That is the focus. We tell you that up front when you come in here. We're not trying to sell you anything while you're there. It is solely about meeting additional people within the industry, identifying some of the biggest issues that you have going on, and having real discussions with peers and what's working for them, what challenges do they have, where can you help them, where can they help you. And there's just sort of a culture that's been developed over the years that allows deeper, better conversations to take place.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It feels like a very safe space to kind of have those conversations with your competitor. It doesn't feel like anyone's there like seeking out information, right? Like it's, oh, we're still struggling with this. What you guys seem to be kicking butt. What'd you do? What was the secret sauce? And people are willing to share it. Um, and you also get a lot of folks who just care a lot about the industry. So like are truly joyous when they get to educate, when they get to share knowledge, when they get to like interact with especially new people to the industry or to the group, like they're thrilled. So it's just a really open environment.
Okay, so let's talk about the keynote. I'm guessing that this question goes to Jeff, if I had to guess the funnel that the keynote came from. So I've had the pleasure of sitting through a Jim Ryerson class, and he is fantastic. So talk a little bit about him and what he's going to be talking about as the keynote.
Yeah, Jim Ryerson is an absolutely dynamic speaker. He is the founder of a company called Sales Octane out of the Michigan area. They focus a lot with sales training, especially with larger companies. We've been using him here at Dolan for longer than I've been here. He's been a part of our executive summit as one of the facilitators at that program every single year. I think he's our longest running presenter at this point. Always gets great responses and remarks. And when we came up with this concept of networking and what could we do to show people how to network more effectively, it was a no-brainer that Jim would be an expert in this area. So we approached him. He was kind enough to agree to come on down to Orlando for a few days. And I think he's going to do an exceptional job. If you go on to Amazon.com, type in his name, you'll see a whole bunch of books that he has written. He's a best-selling author as well when it comes to sales and networking and marketing.
Perfect. Okay, so Kelley, walk through kind of the overall agenda. So the dates for the convention are April 24th through 26th, but there's also kind of some pre-conference training that people can go through as well. So walk through the overall agenda and what that looks like so people can kind of gauge when they should be there, arrive, leave, all that.
Yes, forgive my side eye because I have it open. I'm gonna keep looking
at
it. So on Sunday and Monday, as per usual, we have some educational classes going on. So this year it's building construction and science, and then project management. Both those fulfill needs for certifications for further RIA certifications. So they're good ones to get. They're also not offered frequently, so it's a good way to send staff that need to get to that. And then sort of as a bonus, they can attend the conference and get some exposure to the industry. Also on Monday, for the first time in, gosh, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years, we're having a golf outing. It's going to, the the admission to be part of the golf outing is going to fund AGA. So it's not only fun golf day, but helping to raise some money for the AGA. Also on Monday, there's a class both by CoreLogic and by Xactimate. I believe they're together, where they're going to talk about, these are courses specifically for people with experience in the programs, and they're going to kind of talk about, next steps, things that are changing, things that are new. It's meant for people who have a lot of exposure to the software. And then Monday night, we kick off with our reception in the Expo hall. We get to meet all of our vendors, see them all again for those of us who haven't seen them in a while. And then it's 2 days of 8 a.m. to whenever you decide to finish. Tuesday night, whenever you decide to finish. Tuesday night, Sunbelt is again sponsoring our party this year, so we're excited about that. Full days of sessions. I think we only have one session that you can break out that we're not all together. So for the most part, the content is put together and delivered in a way that everyone can really attend every session and get something out of it. We debate every year about whether we want to do tracks, what do we want to do, and we just found the last few years with keeping everyone in the room, keeping everyone together, it led to a lot of great discussion and follow up after. So we went that same path today.
I agree with that. I liked the setup the last few years where everybody was, I agree.
Yeah.
That was good. Okay. What do we know about AGA Academy? I think that's been a big draw the last few years, and Ed running this, whatever he is going to do. Ed is a great showman and knows a lot. So does he have any formal plans yet for AGA Academy this year?
There's not a ton, so I can't tip my hat too much.
That's okay.
AGA is on the schedule for 2 sessions. Okay. So there would be the AGA advocacy session, which is I think is going to be the time where Xactimate and Symbility may come together again with us and with Ed. That may shift or change. And then the other option, the other time is, as always, Ed closing out the show with some AGA work. So I'm not sure if he's pinned down his guests yet, so I don't want to spoil it if we haven't. Okay. But we are planning on 2 AGA sessions.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So Jeff, I'll toss this question over to you. What would you tell somebody who is thinking about coming, but they've never been to an RIA event before? And maybe if that's the case, if they've never been to an RIA event, maybe they've never been to an industry event in general, period. Where do you recommend starting so it's not so overwhelming?
Yeah, great questions. I would tell you that we always have some events early on in the show that are designed for newer people. We're trying to attract as many new people into the show as we possibly can. We've got a mentor program that we're working on to try and develop so that we can bring you together with people who have been in the industry for quite a while, who are interested in helping out the new young guns. I would definitely attend the receptions that take place. Hotel bar is always a good place afterwards, because people down there specifically because they want to interact and they want to have that experience. Whether you have a beer, you don't have a beer, doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Go down there and have those conversations while you're down there. Speak to vendors. Vendors always have a great group of people that they know. They're more than happy to introduce you, to be helpful, to introduce you to people that they know in the industry. And then find someone wearing an RIA pin and flat out walk up to them and tell them you're brand new. I'm new here, and I'm trying to learn what I can learn. And I don't think there's anybody wearing that pin who's going to tell you, too bad, go somewhere else. If they can't, they're going to find somebody at least to introduce you to at that particular time and keep those conversations going. That's the whole spirit of this convention. That's why people attend this. So lean into it, and you'll get out of it whatever you put into it.
Is there a women's breakfast on the docket again this year as well?
There is, yes.
There is. I believe it's on the last day. I'm gonna do that side eye thingy. It is Wednesday, April 26th, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. That would be Eastern.
Okay. Is there registration stuff for that yet? Probably not yet, not that I've seen. But that was a filled up room last year. So that's another really good opportunity for any women that come to be in there.
Yeah, it was a great experience last year. And it was really well organized and really well attended. And we're gonna try to do a similar mentor or peer-to-peer sort of program with that breakfast and starting a little ahead of it. So all with the mindset of when we're together in the room, let's already have those relationships. Let's be there for there. And if you don't have them, here's where you make them.
Do you have to be an RIA member to come to convention?
You do not.
Are there any perks to being an RIA member before you register?
Yes, there
There
are.
is. Yeah, there's a couple. Number one, you're going to get a discounted rate
Yep.
to the event, so that's quite a bit. The other one that we've been launching here, and Jeff more specifically has taken the lead on, is doing exceptionally well with. It's called the affiliate program, and it deals with different vendors. I believe it started with Sunbelt, but if you are an RIA member and you're a part of the affiliate program, which is part of the perks of being a member, you get significant discounts. And it's a sliding scale, it's different ranges, but you can get significant discounts from a number of well-known industry vendors in there, in which one or two orders, this thing more than pays for itself, and you can actually on the back end uh, turn it into a nice little profit center for yourself with just being a member of being it. A big piece of that actually is this is putting on the membership hat right now, if that's okay.
Yep.
Is last year, beginning of this year, and well, I guess it's 2023, end of last year, RIA announced a brand new pricing model. So it has never been more affordable than it is right now to be an RIA member. It starts at $299 for the year, which is unbelievable. And then it is a sliding scale upwards depending on how many people are in your company. But even for the biggest companies out there, it is exceptionally affordable to do. There's other promotions and discounts that are taking place. Just the people that you meet, the connections that you make are the strongest ones I've made anywhere in 10 years of being in this industry. And all of them pay for themselves over and over.
Perfect. Kelley, anything you want to add to that from a contractor perspective and your involvement in RIA over the years?
Sure. I mean, it definitely, for me, it was like a new territory, right? Like I got out of my little bubble. I had to meet a lot of new people. I had to understand how the different ways business is done, the different kind of challenges we all face, as well as the same ones. So for me, it was like an utter delight to just find like all these people, especially starting at a small company, finding people who were similar to me and wore a lot of hats and were able to do a lot of that. And then getting to meet all our amazing vendors. I mean, Jeff touched on it for a minute, but like you walk that show floor, they all know each other. They're like teasing each other and like it's so fun. Like it's such a good group to just like I would hang out there the whole time if I didn't have to run around and do other things. But there's so much to learn. And I think one of the major impacts it had on me I was a young person in the industry. I didn't know anyone. Um, and I got so much exposure to, and everyone was so welcoming that I grew so much by being able to attend these events. And I think that's a great thing and a great perk and a great benefit to think about with all your layers of staff, right? Like it doesn't always need to be upper management going to these events. The amount of growth and exposure and experience somebody who's just figuring out the business and really you see future in, like what a great way to invest in them and to get them sort of this kind of experience in a room where everyone's just going to like lap them up. So that's the thing I would add as like on the contractor side is bring your staff, like bring people who are ready for the next step in their careers. This is an awesome way to do it.
Yes, the networking is second to none. That is for sure. Okay, anything else that you guys want to add before we wrap it up? People can go to restorationindustry.org to register. I will make sure to have that on the bottom here so you can find it there. There's also ads all over the CNR website and eBlast and stuff and social media. There's plenty of places that you can find the link if you just can't seem to get there. Are there early bird discounts? What are the tiers for pricing? Where are we at right now?
I think early bird.
Sorry, asking off the wall questions here.
I think early bird's done. That's okay. I wasn't sure. But if you do bring a few people, there is a discount after, I think 3 or more if you register them all at the same time. So if you do want to think about bringing a few folks, it's worth it. And if you're like struggling with how do I register everyone at the same time and whose name, reach out to RIA. I mean, they'll walk you through it. They'll help you out. The goal is to get you there. So we'll get you there.
All right, Jeff, anything else you want to add?
No, I appreciate you taking the time with us to help us get the message out, and we hope to see everybody there.
For sure.
Yeah, can't wait to see you there.
I'm excited to see both of you, even though I see Jeff relatively often, but Kelley, I don't get to see you very often. Jeff and I go to a lot of shows, but that's fine. All right, well, I look forward to seeing you both in a few months. Thank you very much for your time.
For more Restoration Today and the latest news, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com. And find the latest episodes of the Restoration Today podcast on your favorite podcasting platform.